Welcome to the Zono Sports Show, where you know Zonos. Now, this past week, we had a lot of things happen in the sports world. If you keep up with sports, then you probably know, but let me give you my perspective. Now, shout out to the baseball heroes. Life's about the heavy hitters. Jose Altuve, he's the AL MVP. He's the leader in batting average, was outstanding all year, even did it in the World Series. That's he you could attribute his efforts to the specific reason why the Astros won the World Series. Yeah, I know about Gurriel and I know about Springer and I know about Correa, but Jose Altuve has been the constant for that Houston Astros team. That's why they won it all. Then NL MVP Giancarlo Stanton hit 57 home runs. Baller. Now the question is, yeah, he's got that pretty face, the smile, but will he still be a Marlin next year? Derek Jeter's already alluded to the fact that he may make some changes to that entire Miami roster, and that includes everybody. So Giancarlo would only be the second the second MVP to play for another team his next season. So that would be interesting if he's not in Miami. I think you have to keep him there, just considering the tragic stuff that happened with Jose Fernandez. Those Miami Marlin fans want to see a constant there. So I definitely think that will be something that we got to keep our eye on in Major League Baseball. But shout out to the MVPs. Now also, college hoops, it's been great thus far. However, I think it could get much better because, I mean, the season's just getting started. We had the Champions Classic last week. Duke, baby, Kentucky, Michigan State, Kansas. Everybody was there. People were ready to watch the games. Now, who is Kentucky going to be? I was really anxious to see that team last week, how they would play. You know, we talked about that last show. They lost to Kansas at that Champions Classic, and they struggled against Troy last night. This is a very young team. Quade Green, I want to say is his name. He's a great young point guard. I think he's very quick. He's skilled. He's from Philly. He can ball. I would love to see how he continues to develop in the season. Knox is probably the best scorer at this current moment. And Vanderbilt, Jordan Vanderbilt, has to get healthy and come and be ready to play on this team because they seem like they're still lacking something. Yeah, they got the one loss to Kansas, but it seems like they could have had a few more. They struggled against Utah Valley, struggled against Vermont, struggled against Troy. Too many struggles against mid-majors, and if you want to play in March, I don't care how well you played in the Champions Classic, it's not going to help you if you're playing like this. Also, Michigan State, Miles Bridges, he got hurt the other day, hurt his ankle. He's the cornerstone of that team. So if they don't have him, I'm curious to see how will that Michigan State roster do without him on the floor. You know, they lost to Duke and Marvin Bagley the other night. Marvin Bagley got poked in the eye. Duke's looked great. The young freshman looks good for Duke. But the PK80 is soon. That's this week. That's 16 big-time teams. That's put on by Phil Knight. I'm really anxious to see how all these college basketball teams look on that type of stage because with 16 major programs like that, the Michigan States of the world, the Kansas, the Kentuckys and the North Carolinas, the Dukes, they've got a lot of teams in this tournament, and we're going to see at least in Vegas two. I think it's in Vegas. At least we'll see at least two. Oh no, excuse me. It's going to be in Oregon. I want to say we will see at least two of the Final Four teams for this season in this tournament. So pay attention to that PK80. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Now, in college football, Mayfield Magic has been a little messy. Baker cooked up the wrong muffins this weekend when he grabbed somewhere he shouldn't have grabbed and said some words he shouldn't have said. Oklahoma blew out Kansas, but this game had a chippy feel to it from the jump. We saw the highlight of the beginning of the game when they were out there for the coin toss, and you had Baker Mayfield extend his hand to shake the Kansas players' hands, and they didn't want to shake his hand. And I'm like, Kansas, you really aren't that good. Baker, they showed clips of him during the game yelling, y'all school only won one game. And go cheer on basketball. Baker, it's true, but you're Baker Mayfield. You can't be that guy. Now, fast forward, the explicit expression where he does grab where he wasn't supposed to grab and say what he wasn't supposed to say really drew a lot of attention to him, negative attention. He was mouthing words over at the Kansas sideline. At least it wasn't to fans. Now, NFL-wise, does this concern some GMs? I would think so, because if you look at the history of the last few recent Big 12 quarterbacks, you've had ones that weren't good and ones that were not good off the field, a la Johnny Football. And then you look at Brandon Whedon, he was a flop. Colt McCoy, flop. So Baker Mayfield, the fact that Big 12 quarterbacks haven't had a great history the last few years, the last 10 years, I think that you need to tread the line very carefully. Because we saw this type of behavior out of players like Johnny Football, and look where they're at now, which I think Baker takes the game a lot more serious than Johnny Football does. That's just how it appears to me. He was upset yesterday on the stand when Coach Riley had to get up and give an interview and talk about how he had a press conference, how Baker Mayfield won't start this Saturday on senior day, and he was been stripped of his captaincy. He won't be a captain. That really bothered Baker Mayfield. He showed some contrition. However, let's not forget that this is one of several incidents. You have the incident back in February with the drunken arrest, and then you have the incident in Ohio State where you planted the flag. Baker Mayfield, you need to slow it down. Cool it now. Wisconsin beat Michigan this weekend. That was a hyped up game, and it was close here and there. Brandon Peters, the quarterback, went down, and then Wisconsin found a way to pull away with defense and decent offense and a run game. Now, this game concerns me for Harbaugh's job because we've seen coaches get fired all over. Harbaugh, he seems like he can't win the big one. So will that put him on the chopping block for Michigan, even though he's a Michigan man? I think this could be the last year. If it ain't, you got half of next year, Coach Harbaugh. And also, Miami fiddled around with Virginia for 2.5 quarters and finally came back, had to get the turnover chain out, and found a way to get the win. So shout out to the Hurricanes for that. The Iron Bowl is this weekend. Number 1 Alabama at number 6 Auburn. We saw what the Tigers did at Jordan Hare. Jordan Hare will scare the hair off of a Bulldog or Roll Tide or whoever. So Alabama needs to be ready to play. I understand they've had a lot of injuries this year, which could be the reason Jarrett Stidham and Slayton and those guys, Kerryon Johnson, go wild on this roster. However, this is still Alabama. So, War Eagle, please respect Alabama. And let's not look at them as a battered animal, because when you do that, they'll come out of the cage and bite you. Now, as far as coaching fires and hires and all that good stuff, who's Tennessee going to get in there? I've heard rumors about Gruden. I've heard rumors about everybody. They've said David Cutcliffe. They've said Jimbo Fisher. They've said they said Dan Mullen. They've said multiple names. Chip Kelly even came across the radar. However, who is really interested in this Tennessee job? Is it someone they could get in-house? Could maybe a T. Martin from USC come? Or maybe a Peyton Manning says, hey, I want to get in coaching. Do they give him a shot? I really think that they need to definitely stick to what they said and get somebody with championship experience. Because if you want to get back where you were, Tennessee, you have to do that. Also, in the NFL, the Redskins extend the... Oh, before I go there, Jim Mora, sorry about the UCLA job. He wasn't able to keep that. Meant to mention it. Sam Darnold got him up on out of there. So UCLA, that's open too, so be on the lookout. Now also NFL, Redskins extend the Saints' win streak to 8. Overtime win versus the Redskins. The Saints, they look unstoppable. They're impeccable. Mark Ingram ran for 134 yards. Breeze he was 29 of 41, 385 pass yards, 2 TDs. Kirk Cousins can play perfect, but it's still not enough. Over 300 yards passing, 3 TDs, but it still wasn't enough because that Redskins team can't play defense. You got Josh Norman. What is he really doing there if you guys are giving up 34 points? Can he help in the run game? Can he defend in the pass game? Because these numbers speak otherwise. 385, I'm sure one of those balls was thrown to his side. The Giants sneak the Chiefs 12-9. Andy Reid, talk to me, Big Chief. Talk to me, Big Chief. Gimmicky offense, that's gotta stop. You've gotta try to open it up a little bit. People have game planned for the little wrinkles they do with eye candy, trying to get Tyreek Hill on the edge for quarterback passes and misdirections. There's enough tape on that. Alex Smith's got to keep continuing to push the ball down the field like you guys did early on in the season and stop this short game stuff because it's not gonna work. That's not the type of team you have. You're not built for that. You got Travis Kelce, get him the ball in space. You got Kareem Hunt, get him the ball in space, keep him between the tackles, but on the edge, not right up inside because it just seems like that inside run's not clicking right now. Monday Night Football, Julio Jones and the crew, they do the do in Seattle. Falcons win 34-31. Blair Walsh missed a 52-yard field goal, 1 yard short of what they could have improved on because Pete Carroll thought about maybe I should try and get a little yards to kick this field goal at the end of the game, but it didn't Yeah, I think he was a little apprehensive about that because he made a fake field goal call that didn't work out earlier in the game. So I think he kind of had his pants in a bunch. So maybe it's something to think about, Pete. Follow your gut. Go with your gut, Pete Carroll. Go with your gut next time. Now, NBA wise, the Celtics got that Sweet 16 all year. 16 straight wins. Last night they beat the Mavericks in OT, came back to do it. They came back against Golden State earlier last week, held the Warriors to under 90 points for the first time all year. They scored 88 points, Golden State did. And Kyrie even took off his mask and said, "You know what? I can't beat you guys with this mask on. I need to take this off and go to work." And that's exactly what he did. And Charles Barkley had to eat his words after the game because he said, "I guarantee the Warriors they won't hold the Celtics under 6 points. 96 points. They won't do that, even though that's what they average." Charles Barkley, who looks like a fool. Don't sleep on Boston. They may be the best team in the NBA for real with 16 straight. Lonzo Ball had a second triple-double Sunday night. Despite the fight the other night against the Suns, people made a big deal about the fact that he walked away. Now, think about how much we criticize this man on TV. Do I really want to get involved into a fight, into a skirmish? Do I really want to be that guy? Or what do I do here? Maybe I'll just walk away. And then what do? We get on him for walking away. We would have got on him for staying. So, Lonzo Ball, just do your thing, man. Protect your teammates. Play basketball, but forget about all of us out here because at the end of the day, you got a ball. And that's all you can do. People are saying change your shot. They're telling people to all do your thing. If it works for you, make it work. But if they say it's not working, change some things. That's when the boss says it's not working. Change something. Because Magic Johnson said he's not messing with his shot. But Lonzo Ball, of course, he's not gonna fight. He's just worried about getting triple doubles, becoming a better basketball player. Now, LeVar Ball versus Donald Trump. This was an interesting story. Okay, so Donald Trump allegedly helped with getting the UCA players that were accused of a crime over in China for shoplifting, who were caught on camera doing that. He allegedly helped them get released and get back to America. And last night, LeVar Ball was on CNN, and they asked him why won't he thank the president? And he just basically said, my kid, people are trying to make him into somebody that he's not. This is a 4.0 student. This is an impulse decision, which I understand that 18-year-olds, they do make mistakes. And I'm sure LiAngelo Ball learned from this one. Dude will not steal a cracker at a function off of a plate. I guarantee you that. He won't ever do that again because of all this stuff that's going on right now. But LeVar Ball said that he said, why would I say thank you? What did he do? He said he had enough room on his plane to bring my boys home. And there was enough room on that plane for everybody. And I didn't see the entire interview. That's just the clip I saw on ESPN, and I want to go watch the entire interview. However, LeVar Ball's got a point. Granted, he says some things, and they eventually got out. But I think it would have done wonders for his public perception if he says, you know what, let's make sure we get these boys and let's bring them back home on this plane. Let's bring them back on Air Force One. Because if you think about everything that's going on and the phone calls that were made to soldiers' wives who died in Afghanistan and Iraq or in the Middle East, wherever they were, you would think that a person would take every opportunity to restore their image. But some people don't do that. They take the high road. So can I blame LeVar for the way he feels? I cannot, because there were tweets sent out by President Trump that essentially said, I should have left your boys in jail. Now, what that says to me is that you basically want a man that China's a communist country. America's a free country, and that's why it was so dangerous for those boys to be over there and be doing what they did, which was very stupid. Now, with this being a free country, what I will say is that LeVar Ball, he's got a right to feel the way he feels, and somebody should not be able to demand and essentially say in so many words, bow to me because of what I did, bow to me. And LeVar Ball is saying, bruh, I ain't bowing to nobody. So LeVar Ball, keep raising your kids, keep them out of trouble, and that's all I have to say about that. Next show, we'll have to talk on Tuesday. Make sure you watch Holiday Hoops. There's Thanksgiving football on. The Lions, will they get a galloping gobbler? I don't know. But you know, Zoe knows sports, so make sure you come here next time and we'll talk some more where you know Zoe knows.